Hello, everyone, and welcome into Under the Spotlight. I'm Carmela Sterling and very excited about today. We love being together for you and with you. And today is a very special day because my guest, please give a warm welcome to Peter Sterling of Sterling Karate and my husband and typically my producer. Thanks so much for
Thank
doing
you.
everything today. If they
Isn't
only
that
saw
awesome?
if they only saw your setup, it
We
would
should
be
take pictures of all the stuff.
no.
Hey, welcome everybody. I'm really excited about this because I get to work with my beautiful wife right here on
Oh my
camera
gosh.
instead of being over there pushing the buttons and stuff.
You know, we've had great success with Under the Spotlight, which is an ongoing series featuring people who have really generously given value to all of us. And I know we have amazing friends and we're so blessed, and you've received this so well. We are now officially a podcast as well as this live here on Facebook and other platforms like YouTube. And without your help, I never would have gotten there. All that techie stuff that he does, man, woo, that's success. That's a win for me for sure.
Well, you have so much to give, and you have these amazing gifts of being able to communicate with people and add value to people's lives in so many ways, so including mine.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you. I don't want to get lipstick on your face, otherwise I'd kiss you. He's an amazing man, 30-year business, 30 years plus under his belt, a black belt, a third-degree black belt. How did he actually get there? 30 years of success in a business. I mean, that's pretty incredible just in itself. The fundamentals of his company is character, leadership, and I'm missing something. Strength.
Yeah.
I am missing that, and we're going to get that today. Character, leadership, and strength, and those fundamental pillars of your company, of your business, came about with a story that I think a lot of people will glean a lot from, because we all want what you have. We want that great success long term, over and over and over again. But it took some finding out to get there, didn't it?
Yes, I didn't wake up when I was 13 and say, "Oh, I'm going to be a karate teacher and have this amazing business." Just a little background.
Please.
I've always kind of been entrepreneurial. I had a paper route. I I used to.
As a kid, you did?
As a kid, I had a paper route. You had to go and knock on people's doors.
Learn something new every
If
day.
they want to take the paper, and people who needed to pay their money, you had to go shake them down. Okay.
Oh my
Exaggerating
gosh.
a little bit.
That's where the strength comes from.
The thing is that, and then candy sales in schools. And I remember going door to door selling some sort of liquid cleaner, super concentrated.
Oh, as a kid, for
our Bantam hockey team, so I could have a windbreaker that had the logo of my number on it.
Oh my gosh, that's truly entrepreneurial.
Yeah, and it was just anyway. So I really appreciated that. I didn't probably realize how much I appreciated it until I got a job, and it was I enjoyed receiving the compensation for my efforts, but I also had to buy into somebody else's vision. And I found over the years that was tougher and tougher because a lot of times I saw things differently. And so I remember running a restaurant, and it was a franchise thing. And, I had a boss, and the boss wanted to do it. But if we did it this way, but it was always his ultimate decision.
That was your thinking? What if we did it this way? Like he didn't run it the way that you would?
Exactly.
Okay, so you kind of didn't play well with others, like you like to say.
Yeah, there was a little bit of that. But the thing is that, I knew I wanted to have my own business at that point because I wanted to be able to call the shots. I wanted to be able to follow my own vision. And actually, I started cutting hair. I got my license as a barber to do just that. And I started out renting a chair, and it was exactly what I wanted, except for one thing.
Are we to guess?
I didn't love cutting hair.
What?
I didn't love cutting hair.
So why were you cutting hair?
Because that was, to me, it was the easiest way to have my own business.
Oh, because you could rent the chair and be your own boss, but you didn't love. Oh, interesting.
So, but you know what I did when I was cutting hair? All I talked about was karate.
Oh, I love that so much. That's so awesome.
So I'm cutting hair and doing the deal, and
were you taking karate at the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so then I had a mentor in my karate. martial art training, and he started a business teaching karate in daycares.
Oh, what?
Started
Daycares.
teaching karate in daycare for
Wow.
the
If you ever wondered if that was too young to start.
preschoolers. Kidding. So,
Oh my gosh.
and he was always looking for instruction. I said, yeah, I'll give it a shot. And the day of my first class, he walked away from the business. He just
From his own business.
from his own business.
He'd had enough
He'd had enough.
already.
I know, right?
Oh my gosh.
So anyway, so there I am, and I called him. I said, "Well, what am I going to do?" He says, "Well, you got, I don't know what, a handful of classes lined up. Go teach them." Yeah, but what about? He said, "Just do it," and that's what I did.
And you just did it.
Yeah. And it was cool because all of a sudden I'm doing something I love, and I will tell you, teaching karate to preschoolers or something is great training because they don't care what color your belt is. I can walk into a group of adults and they'll be, bowing and sensei this, sensei that. You walk into a group of school age or preschool age kids and they don't care what color your belt is. After about 10 seconds, they're impressed for 10 seconds, but after that,
there's the character building piece, right? We've covered strength and now character. Oh my gosh, this is interesting.
So, but here's what I found out very quickly was at the end of the school year, whether it's preschool or whatever, people typically don't take classes like that in the summer. I mean, there's camps, and I found things over the years that work. But at that point, so all of a sudden, I'm kind of all in on this. I'm still cutting hair. But then all of a sudden that income dries up and it's like, oh. And then, I also had people in my life saying, well, that was fun. When are you going to get a real job? Things like that. Well, I guess I'll go back to cutting hair. And then, I found after that summer, I was like, yeah, right. I spent all this education, time and money to become a barber. And by that time I was a master barber and I just went, yeah, okay, time to grow up. But then some woman called me from a after school program and said, I've got 20 kids here who want karate. I heard you're a karate teacher. It's like, I wasn't going to do this anymore because it wasn't a real job. So anyway, okay, I'll do it. And then I thought, and I was talking to people, and there was one camp that said, "Oh man, you go get your own shop and all that stuff."
Yeah, your own storefront with the trophies and everything.
Okay,
yeah,
I'll try that. No, not the karate thing.
The hair thing.
The hair thing, yeah. Yeah, because that was like real karate. Was like a kind of a pipe dream or something like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what I did then is. I thought, okay, well, I'll do the both at the same time. And, again, I'm talking about karate every time I'm cutting hair. And then I'm, but I am pursuing that business. And then I got the karate kind of as a side, a couple classes here and there. And I'm cutting a woman's hair who has kids in a school, private school. And she said, oh, they love it there. Okay, well, I'll go try that, and I went and I gave them her name and they said, oh yeah, that'd be great. We'd love that.
That's pivotal.
And so, I went there and so I added some more schools. Now we're in school age. And
are you teaching a curriculum that, like, what were you teaching? What you learned?
What I've learned. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so then school year ended.
Oh my gosh, and you're back to ground zero again with the, oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then of course those people in my life, the naysayers go, well, see.
That's heartbreaking.
So then I'm like, okay, well, if I'm going to cut hair, I'm going to go to the best salons in the, Twin Cities. And, I went and interviewed and it just wasn't working. It didn't feel right. And finally thank you God, but I just went, you know what? I'm going to go teach karate all the time.
Wow.
And so
big move.
It was a huge move. This was like 1989. And I was riding a motorcycle at the time, got on my motorcycle, printed out some flyers at then Kinko's and went around to all the schools I could and had about 25 schools signed up, like boom. And, never
Is
looked
that
back.
right there? That's so pivotal to say, okay, you learn a little bit about yourself. You know you wanted to own your own. You could
Yep.
feel it by the
Yep.
way that you had to operate in other people's business. So that was the one identifiable thing. So if you're listening in right now, and let us know if you're having those aha moments. And if you know someone who could use this, you're welcome to share, because that's huge right there. You really identified yourself. I want to have my own business. So you try something you think is your own, but really when you're in that, you're still talking about your passion.
Yep.
And some may say, oh, that's just a hobby, or that's just a side course, or that's just something else to learn. But you enjoyed teaching it and sharing it with others. Would you mind? Can we show some pictures of you actually in the schools? Would you would you mind? Are we laughing because he's actually operating the producer's program from the setup today is extraordinary. It's all because of him. So that's very pivotal if you think about who am I authentically myself? What would I really like to do? And not always thinking of the outcome and the income, right? So to speak. But you take those steps. And that's what you did that was so powerful. You took the step. I'm going to do what I love and teach all the time, especially teaching children, to all the teachers out there, instructors and coaches. You understand how that's not always easy, but why did you choose to work with children and their families? Because sometimes families take together. Was there a reason for that?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the main reason is even though, working with children comes with issues, just keeping their attention, keeping them on task and all that.
I can only imagine. My gosh.
And I've been blessed with a gift in that regard, is that you have a greater impact than you do with adults, because as we grow, into adulthood, we have something, our minds kind of get closed and we go, oh, this is the way things are. And so, whereas kids, it's wide open.
That's
so
beautiful.
You can teach some things, some principles about self-defense and then help them with, training, physical fitness, focus, clarity, having just confidence in their ability to take action should they need to. All right. And so in that case, it becomes, second nature as opposed to learned behavior as adults.
Right.
I don't know if you,
Impact.
people out there, I mean, I learned how to play the violin as a kid, and I will always have my experience. Okay. So I can't say for sure. I will usually always have much better bowing than anybody who learned it as an adult. And
oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, because again, and there's practice and all that other stuff that comes into it. But if you learn something as a kid, it becomes, almost permanent. So if we can have a positive message of empowerment and you can, and those kinds of things with young kids, and that, the program is about achieving belts and working hard, goal setting and stuff like that. It does have impact. And, in my life now, I have children who were children in my program.
Their kids are taking generational students. Can we show a couple of pictures?
Yeah,
let me let Peter bring these up and then allow him to walk you through this. So here's a family who took together.
Yeah. So they, this is Martin and his family, and they all took starting. Oops, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
The boys and Teresa, the sister, started when they were in kindergarten, I think pretty much second grade, first grade in kindergarten. And then their dad, Martin, they all took, and they all got their black belts, not at the exact same time, but they all had that goal.
As Peter's showing us pictures of some of the students, he's had literally thousands of students. I personally love this photograph because it shows me your gentle kindness, meeting the kids where they are, instructing them with concern and care and love. And these families, they love you. The parents send Christmas cards and birthday wishes and gratitude, and they bring you all sorts of ways to say thank you because you have had impact on these students. Thousands of them. 30 years? That's just incredible. And I don't know how you have this patience level, but it's beautiful. And I see it every day.
And I've been blessed for sure.
So the blessing came, if you want to show some more, I have another question while you're showing them, or a video, whatever you'd like. As
I'm just going to throw some up.
Okay. As the blessing came, the blessing really was that you took a step out in faith and said, I'm going to teach, I'm going to do karate all the time. This is what I want to do. And as you took the steps, you had success by way of referral. Principals admire you and respect you and give you permission to go to another principal's school by recommendation. I mean, it's just been that walk of faith and blessing. And to me, that's very glaring. Like, he took the step. It's a good program. It's kind. You're using your skills and God-given gifts. And most of this business comes by way of a referral. That's the blessing, that it just keeps going. And it's still growing today after 30 years. That's remarkable. Oh, I love this. I love the trophies. Oh my gosh. I have one too. I snagged it just for the show today. They're beautiful. Just beautiful.
All right, so I got to show this one because
Okay.
another blessing that has happened is that this is our daughter Teresa, who she got her black belt when she was 11. And by the way, these
Nice.
pictures all come from tournaments that we have. We always have an annual tournament,
I love that.
very kid friendly, and you know they strive for trophies and medals and.
And they
No,
get to show.
not everybody gets a first place trophy,
Right.
but they all will go home with something.
Which is nice. And this is where the kids get to show their parents what they've learned. They do their combinations and forms. Okay, you're saying about the picture. And
So anyway, Teresa got her black belt when she was 11, and then she really focused on hockey in her sport life after that, and she always credits karate with helping that.
that's impressive.
But anyway, and then the gentleman to my left there is David, her husband, and he didn't get his black belt from me, but coincidentally, he got his black belt when he was about 13. And so they met and they got married, and he's been teaching with me now for 5 years. Which
Woo!
is just amazing.
Love, love, love.
Mr. David has been just such a blessing because, you know, he gets it. And I love my daughter said when they got together, I've been waiting for him my whole life. And and I say, well, I've been waiting for him longer than that. So,
you truly have.
but anyway,
So-
so it's a family thing, and
It
we
truly is.
we always are open to people making suggestions because it's word of mouth. I mean, it really is. And, you know, social media and this kind of thing, you know, this is about telling a story of
Yeah.
you know what, you can have a dream, you can go for it. And, you know, dreams do come true, and we're, and it isn't without struggles, but you know what? Everybody has struggles. It depends on what you do with it.
I have such excitement when he talks about it, and I see the success and the impact he's had. And we all want that, a life of significance. Something Peter does that I find just remarkable. Does anybody have trouble remembering others' names? This man remembers all of his students' names, he has a goal. All the new students coming in, he'll know everyone's name within, is it the first month?
You know what? I'll be
How does that
honest.
go?
I give myself till Thanksgiving to know
Okay.
everybody's name in every class. And
I mean, we're talking about hundreds of names. So I love that. You've also had some very successful students, not only achieving whatever belt, right, that they wanted to achieve,
Yep.
but they went on to do some extraordinary things. Can you share a few of those with us?
yeah, let's see, a couple that are prominent. One young man who's been playing in the National Hockey League for a number of years now, who was a former student. We had D1 athletes of hockey, track, lawyers, doctors. I mean, really, it just runs the gamut.
That's wonderful.
And what's really cool is that connecting with them later in life, and you know, hearing that that it had impact. I mean, it just fuels me to keep doing what I'm doing. Fuels me to help David continue to do it because you know he's already starting to experience that with the classes that he's been teaching.
That's
that
wonderful.
you know, people come back and say, "Man, thank you so much. It really helped."
It really helped in all venues. Can you bring up the little, the one with the combinations or someone's just some action? Because what I want to ask Peter, and I'm sure a lot of you are thinking this too, there are so many movies that come out generational, and you can go back years that kids will say, "Oh, I saw that in a movie, and I want to do that." Now, what I think is interesting about this is Peter's had stories of kids who say, "I want to do what was done in that movie," or "I want to do it's."
You know what? It's
I want to do what's in that movie. And what's really funny is David actually does a lot of that movie stuff in real movies, which I'm thinking of right now. So one of our instructors, our son-in-law, is an action movie actor. And so is Teresa, which I think is just so awesome. So how this has helped physically. The physical part is important because all those combinations actually help kids to protect themselves.
Yep.
And as a parent, I would come to you with that too. I want my child to be, protect. The other thing that they learn in class with Peter is it isn't just about wrestling around with your sibling. You teach them respect for the art itself.
Yep.
But besides the physical, which rolls into other, attributes of their life, just being physically fit. Let's talk about the other. And I know we're out of time, but we're going to stretch here. I'm giving
the video is not going to come up, so I'm not sure why that is, but
okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Physical aspect is one thing. The character building is another. The leadership piece. Can you just give us an overview, and we'll close with that?
Sure. So, it's interesting because I just recertified for my CPR, AED, and first aid credentials the last month. And, I realized, self-defense is a lot like CPR. It's like, number one, if you know it, you probably never have to use it. It's just the way things work. But if you ever need it, and you're really good, because it's what it's about, self-defense. It's about taking action if it's necessary, and then knowing what to do and having stuff. It's not guaranteed it's going to work, like CPR. It's not guaranteed it's going to work, but if something happens, you have some steps that you can take action, and that's really the message. So, people will say, "Oh, you're teaching a 5-year-old, self-defense and karate." Yes. Why? Because if they ever need it, doesn't mean it's going to work, but it does mean that they have some steps to take action and not be a victim. Because if I can move forward, if I can take action on my own behalf, I'm not a victim, no matter what happens.
I love that. So that's strength, character, leadership. How, if you can give our audience some tips on how have you sustained this 30 years plus business with referrals from people who they trust you. That's a big part right there. Your integrity is under the spotlight all the time, and I'm so proud of you for all that you've achieved and all that you continue to do. Yes, it's blessed because you're doing the right thing. He's working authentically as himself, utilizing his God-given gifts. Put your skills to work, put your love to work, your passion for what you do. But that integrity piece is huge.
Well, again, it's, I guess the definition of integrity is you're the same when you're by yourself as you are when you're in public. And, we all fall short, but, the thing is that we all keep going too. Honestly, it's just, again, doing what you love. There's aspects I don't love about it. It's a lot of driving. It's been tremendous driving over the years. But
so that's a very unique business model, though, and I don't think we've actually covered that. You said schools, right? And we are going to take the time because it's innovative, it's brilliant. So people don't come to you in a storefront that says karate. Right. You go to them.
Yes.
I love this piece as a parent, like you're coming to my kids and my family, the school environment. Before school, after school programs, middle of the day, you go to the kids' location. Right. And you have other classes outside of that. But I love that he gets it, which is why he drives so much, gets in his car and goes, teaches a class and goes to the next one. You bring your gifts to them. It's amazing.
Well, what I like to say is I had a virtual karate class before there were virtual karate classes. It's I don't know, if I have extra energy or have some sort of whatever that causes me to just always like to move. All right, and I've always been that way. Sitting in a classroom was agonizing to say the least. But just again, a niche. It came. Somebody said, "Hey, go talk to this." At that time, honestly, I did have a vision. Oh yeah. Sterling Karate on the outside of a building, but I had opportunities to do that, but that business model was not attractive because the overhead is so high. So whereas my overhead is very low and it's always been low, so I don't charge nearly as much as
No.
strip malls, because I don't have to, and they do have to keep their doors open. So it's been it's just grown that way. I mean, when I first started, and we've talked about this, it's, I was doing karate at birthday parties. I was going
Can
into
you imagine?
corporations, doing
Excuse
scout camps. I mean, if anybody wanted a karate or self-defense class, I was there. And then it just
Love that.
it turned into what it is today,
showed
which is I showed up.
He kept showing up with what he had to give. So, have you gleaned some information today that may apply to your world? I certainly hope so. Many of us want to just follow what you're doing. We know there's many other aspects to your broad spectrum business thinking, which maybe we come back and we'll do this again.
Yeah,
We'll
for sure.
continue on. I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Otherwise, I'll be right over there. If anybody has a question, you just got to say, "Hey, Carmela, ask your husband."
We'll go back and answer the questions in the comment. You can now find us on podcast on many platforms, including Amazon. You have us up there now, right?
Amazon, Spotify. It should be up in Apple momentarily, hopefully.
That's really awesome. And here on Facebook and YouTube, thank you all for following us under the spotlight for guests who add extraordinary value to our lives. Thank you, Peter.
And listen to a woman who adds extraordinary value to anybody that she talks to. So.
I love you too. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a blessed day.